What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are making tacos, an easy and very simple taco recipe. Let's start with our ingredients. I know you guys see that there's a lot on my table. Don't be overwhelmed. I'll be adding everything in the description box. So let's present our ingredients. I have about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. I have avocados, lime, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, lettuce, jalapenos, yellow onion, red onion, curly parsley, cilantro, tomatoes, oil, some seasoning salt. How I prepare my seasoning salt, I add a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of black pepper and I mix it together. I have some hard taco shell and I also have some soft taco shell. We'll be preparing like 2 different ones. And to season our meat today, I will be using the regular Le Bon Goût seasoning, meat seasoning. This one is an all-in-one meat seasoning, and I'll make sure that I post the link below in the description box as well. And I also have some cheese, but cheese is optional. I just have some cheese. Okay, that's it for my ingredient. Now let's start cooking. Now to start cooking, since we have a lot of things on our working space, I'm going to move everything aside so I can start marinating the meat. Now that we have a clear working space, now we can start marinating the meat. And this is a close-up of what our organic meat seasoning look like, guys. These have everything in them, packed with flavors. And to season the meat, I'm only going to add 4 tablespoons of the meat seasoning. And fully mix it together. Add 1.5 pounds, add a little bit more, 5 tablespoons in total. This is what it looks like when it's fully mixed with the marinade. Now we're going to set it aside so we can start working in our veggies. Guys, these are the veggies that we have and we are going to chop up these so we can cook them with the ground beef. To cook the ground beef, I'm chopping up about 2 tomatoes. These, they don't need to be fancy because they're going to cook with the meat. 2 tomatoes, half of a green bell pepper, half of a yellow onion, and some curly parsley. Going to place that in a bowl. For the green bell pepper, we're just cutting them into square shape. And this is what it looks like after we're done cutting our bell pepper. Now, let's cut our yellow onion, and I'm only going to use half of this. Cut both ends so you can take the skin off very easily. We're also cutting the yellow onion into square shape. Here it is. And now we are going to chop up some curly parsley. And don't worry about the stem, guys. The stem has some good flavors in it as well. Okay, guys, now that our veggies are ready, now we are going to turn on the stove into high heat to add some oil and to start cooking our meat. I already have my stove on high heat. Now I'm going to add some oil, about 2 tablespoons of oil, and let the oil get hot. And how I'm going to cook my meat is I'm going to saute the veggies that I chopped up first. So the oil is getting hot. I'll be adding the veggie and saute them and let them get tender. And after they get tender, I'm going to add the ground beef and let it cook. Okay, now I'm adding my veggies. Just keep stirring them so they don't get burned in the bottom. Remember, I have the oil on high heat. And while the veggies are in there, I'm only adding half of a tablespoon of seasoning salt. And look at the beautiful colors. The veggies smell so good in there. So now I'm just going to let it get tender before I add the ground beef in there. And make sure you keep stirring because you don't want your veggies to burn. And make sure that you stir it. The ground beef is going to take a little while to cook. So make sure that you keep stirring it constantly so it doesn't burn, because remember, our heat are still on high. Now this step is going to require a little bit of multitasking, because while our ground beef is cooking, we're going to start working on our tomato salsa. And remember guys, while you are working on the salsa, keep checking on the ground beef as well. So for our tomato salsa, I have 4 tomatoes, 2 lime, some cilantro, I have some jalapeno because I want a little kick in my salsa. I have red onion and I have bell pepper. For the red onion, I'm only going to use half, and for the red bell pepper, I'm only using a quarter of that. So now let's get this chopped up. This time I'm going to be more careful in how I've cut the tomato, because I'm going to cut it into small squares. Alright guys, our tomato is chopped. It's not nearly perfect, but hey, you can do it however you like and however you can. Okay, let me put them in a bowl. And as you go, clean up your area. Okay, now we're going to chop up the cilantro. You don't need a lot of cilantro, just half of a handful. Cilantro finely chopped. And remember guys, as I mentioned before, while you're working on your salsa, check on the ground beef meat because you don't want it to burn. And make sure to stir it as needed. Now let's chop up of jalapeno. And for my jalapeno, I'm going to take some of the seed out, but you can leave the seed in if you like, whatever your preference. And if your jalapeno is very spicy, you can only use 1 or 2, however you like it. I'm also going to cut my jalapeno into small squares. After you cut your jalapeno, make sure you wash your hand. Don't touch your eyes because it'll get very hot in there. Wash your hand with soap. And careful when you're cutting this. You don't want to cut your finger off. Okay, I put 1 full jalapeno in there. If you want it more spicy, feel free to add more. Okay, now I'm going to double check on my ground beef again. Okay, now our ground beef is ready. This is the consistency that you are looking for. It's not burned, fully cooked. The veggies are well tendered. So now we can turn off the stove and continue to work on our salsa. Now I'm cutting my bell pepper. It's a big bell pepper, so I'm just going to take 1/4 of that. And we're going to cut it into small squares as well. Now we are cutting our onion, and I'm only doing half. Okay guys, our onions are chopped, so now we are going to add it in the bowl. And look how all the beautiful colors blend together. Now I'm going to add half of tablespoon of seasoning salt, and my seasoning salt has black pepper, garlic powder, and a little bit of dry oregano. Going to squeeze 2 lime juice. And taste it a little bit so you can make sure that the salt is perfect in there. Now, let's make our guacamole. I'm going to cut my avocados. You can cut it into 4 pieces or you can cut it in half in the middle. I like to do it into 4 pieces. This might feel like more work for some, but in the second one, I'll show you another way that you can cut your avocado to make it less messy. Okay, this is the second way on how you can cut your avocado. You can just scoop it out with a spoon. And look how easy this is. Whichever one works for you. Since we are making guacamole, we are going to smash it anyway. I'm going to use this, but if you don't, feel free to use a spoon. And guys, if you want a little bit of chunks in your avocado, feel free to add a little bit of red onion. I'm not adding a lot, as you can see. Now that we add our red onion in there, I'm going to add about half of a tablespoon of seasoning salt. Squeeze 1 whole lime. And I added the red onion, guys. You don't have to add the red onion, it's up to you. Seems like my lime had more juice than expected, so let me just stir it to see if I need to add more. Guacamole is ready. Alright, now let's shred our lettuce. I already washed my lettuce. Make sure you wash yours. Our lettuce is shredded, so now what I'm going to do, the remaining of the lime that I have, I'm just going to squeeze the remaining top. This is optional, you don't really have to do this. But me, I like the acidity in my lettuce. Just toss it around a little bit. Okay, now we are done. Let's start filling up our tacos. Okay guys, tacos are ready. I cannot wait to eat. I hope you guys really enjoyed that video, and I hope the video was very detailed enough so that you guys can follow through and make sure you guys can perfect this recipe as well. So this is what our meat look like, our shredded lettuce, a lovely guacamole, and our salsa. Oh my god, with this recipe, colors are everything. Everything is ready, and I also have hard taco shell, and I have some soft one as well. Okay, now let's start filling in our tacos. First, we start with some lettuce, meat, some salsa, and a little bit of guacamole on top. First taco. Okay guys, now I'm making the soft taco shell. We just follow the same thing. Salsa, creamy guacamole on top. That's it guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. This recipe was very easy. Even though there were a lot of steps that we had to follow, at the end of the day, it all came together very nicely. Everything that I have used for this recipe, I will link them below in the description box. Please remember to go ahead and watch my previous recipes as well. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.